Syria's Foreign Minister Walid Mualim on the 6th day of the General Assembly giving Syria's speech here, many taking away from it the remark, quote, "There is no civil war in Syria." Mr Mualim trying to characterise the now 2.5-year violence inside his country as being simply a fight against terrorism. Now, while much of the rebellion is spawned from civilians being repressed by the government, there's parts of it, one group in particular, that has been prescribed as a terrorist organisation by the United States. The rebellion there increasingly radicalised as the tactics of that civil war became increasingly brutal. Mr Mualim using the location of New York to say this particular city attacked itself by terrorists. Why is the United States supporting an opposition that the Syrian regime characterises as being terrorists? Although, of course, many disagree and saying simply there's civilians often just trying to protect themselves. But he went on to say that the United States should not be providing support for opposition groups, neither should any Gulf nations, if Syria itself is to participate in long-awaited peace talks in Geneva that repeatedly have been stalled. This is what he had to say.
Any political solution in light of the continued support of terrorism, whether through supplying arms, funding or training, is mere illusion and misleading. Syria has repeatedly announced that she embraces a political solution of its crisis. It is now for those who claim to support a political solution in Syria to stop all hostile practices and policies against Syria and to head to Geneva without preconditions.
Now, almost hidden inside the UN Security Council resolution passed late on Friday was a reference to these Geneva-based peace talks. A key tenet of those is that a ceasefire must be established in Syria and therefore a transitional government put in place, effectively demanding Bashar al-Assad steps aside. That's nothing that Damascus will accept, and they were quite clear on that in response. But Mr Mualim went on also to say that they would be cooperating with UN OPCW inspectors arriving on Tuesday in Damascus to begin the process of complicatedly dismantling Syria's chemical weapons stockpile, but said they would honour the Chemical Weapons Convention that Syria unilaterally joined some weeks ago, rather than explicitly endorsing the UN Security Council resolution of late last week. He also said if Syria is to go down the path of giving up its chemical weapons, they would also like to see Israel give up its supposed nuclear weapons program. Not quite a tit for tat there, but just once again bringing that onto the table in terms of focusing on weapons of mass destruction across the Middle East. But still, Syria characterising its war against the rebellion now as being a war against terrorism. Many disagree with that characterisation and point at the enormous toll this war has taken on civilians now, and above all, trying to suggest that they will cooperate with inspectors, but still somehow looks slightly defiant. Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN at the United Nations, New York.